This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 165. 3 Ways to Start Investing with $100 or Less by Kalen Bruce of MoneyMiniBlog.com.
Get ready to maximize your potential with Optimal Finance Daily, the podcast that brings you the best content in personal finance 5 days a week. Your optimal life awaits. Now here's your host, Dan Warren.
Hey everybody, welcome to Optimal Finance Daily and welcome to Friday. Hope your week has been good and I'm looking forward to the weekend. I'm sure you guys are too. Now, if you're listening to this really early in the morning or on the other side of the globe, like in Europe or Australia, you might still have time to join our mailing list in time to take part in an extra mid-month book giveaway that's happening today. As I've been telling you all week, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to get a bunch of people to tweet us and Tim Ferriss together and ask for permission to read Tim's blog here on the podcast. Anyone who does that today will be entered to win a copy of Tim's very popular book, The 4-Hour Workweek. So you can simply do that today if you're technologically savvy, or if you want the instructions, you need to be on our mailing list early this morning. But let's get to today's content first as we optimize your life. 3 Ways to Start Investing with $100 or Less by Kalen Bruce of MoneyMiniBlog.com. 36% of Americans save absolutely nothing for retirement. 80% of people ages 30 to 54 believe they will not have enough money saved for retirement when the time comes. You know you need some sort of retirement plan, but can you afford it? Are you a statistic or on your way to becoming one? Spoiler alert, yes, you can afford to invest in your retirement. It doesn't take much to get started, and it takes even less to keep going. Here's how you can invest for retirement, even if you think you can't afford it. What you need to know. There are 2 very important things to pay attention to when you are starting with a small amount: minimums and fees. You can't invest what you don't have, so you will need something with a low minimum initial investment. Fees can be a killer, especially when you're dealing with small amounts, because fees often stay the same. Example, if an investment company has a $9 fee for each transaction, you'll be spending a much higher percent on a small amount than you would with a large amount. $9 is 9% of $100, while it's less than 1% of $1,000. This means you may want to choose a different company or start with an investment that doesn't require a transaction fee. The point is, you don't want to spend 9% in fees if you are only earning 7% or 8% in interest. Always try to keep investing fees at 2% or less. So what kind of investment should you be looking at? Let's see. Start with a good foundation. It's free. You can generally start your retirement account for free. That's right, free. Not only is it free, but you have options. If your employer offers a retirement plan, you should look at that first, especially if they offer a match. There usually isn't a minimum to get started. If your employer doesn't offer a retirement plan, you can open an IRA. These companies let you open your IRA for free. TD Ameritrade, Trade King, Vanguard, and USAA. That explains the method you should use. Now let's move on to what you can invest with just a few bucks. 3 options to invest with $100 or less. There are way more than 3 options to invest for under $100, but these are the easiest methods to implement right now. And by the way, there may be a 4th method here because I couldn't resist. I told you there were more than 3. 1. Mutual funds. The initial investment for mutual funds can be high, but not always. Here are a few mutual funds that you can open with $100 or less. UFSGX, USAA First Start Growth Fund, $0 initial, $50 a month. MYIFX, Moneta Young Investor Fund, $100 initial, $25 a month. Guggenheim Partners, funds starting at $100 initial and higher. Starting with one of these starter funds is a great way to begin, but don't stop there. Once you have enough to afford a better mutual fund, start upgrading. The fund you really want may have a $1,000 or a $3,000 minimum, especially if you're looking at index funds. So just climb the ladder. Start with a $100 minimum fund, then go to a $500 fund when you get there, then $1,000, then $3,000. Work your way to the top. You've got the idea. 2. DRIPs. Dividend Reinvestment Plans, or DRIPs, are a great way to start small. A DRIP is a plan that allows you to start as small as buying 1 share of a company, then continuing to invest your dividends into buying more shares. It compounds over time. It's a great way to start small and end up with a lot more than you may expect. 3. ETFs. Many companies offer free ETF trading, so you don't pay any commissions. This is definitely a great way to start investing. If you want to trade ETFs for free, look to one of these companies: Vanguard, Scottrade, Schwab. 4. Betterment. I know I said 3 ways to invest, so consider this one a bonus. Betterment is a great way to invest, and there's absolutely no minimum to start an account. Betterment is a website that allows you to invest in different ETFs based on the asset allocation you select. You don't actually pick the specific ETFs, so that may be an issue for some who want to have more control over their investing. Final words. These are only a few of the options you have for investing with a small amount. This all goes to show you that anyone can start investing for retirement. It doesn't take much. Once you start contributing to your retirement, keep going. Even if you can only afford a few dollars every month, contribute something. You just listened to the post titled 3 Ways to Start Investing with $100 or Less by Kalen Bruce of MoneyMiniBlog.com. And that's going to wrap up this week's episode. As I mentioned at the top of the show, we are trying this week to get Tim Ferriss's attention because we think it would be great content to have Tim's stuff here on the podcast. But he's been incredibly difficult to get a hold of. So we're trying to get a bunch of people to tweet at Tim and us together on the same day asking for his permission. If you do that today, you'll be entered to win a copy of Tim's best-selling book, The 4-Hour Workweek. And if you're listening to this really early on Friday morning Pacific time, then you might still have time to get the email instructions that we have going out. Just come by oldpodcast.com and enter your email address, or text the word financial to the number 44222. Now, the email with the instructions isn't really necessary if you're familiar with Twitter. You can simply ask Tim for permission for us to read his content, and make sure to tag at oldpodcast and at tferris with 2 R's and 2 S's, and you'll be entered to win. And that's another week in the books of Optimal Finance Daily. I'll be back at you with more posts next week. So have a great weekend, and I'll catch you on Monday, where your optimal life awaits.
Hello, Life Optimizer. This is Justin Malik, creator and producer of this podcast, but also Optimal Living Daily, the show where I read to you from even more blogs covering finance, productivity, minimalism, personal development, and more, from incredible bloggers like Derek Sivers, Zen Habits, Mark and Angel, The Minimalists, and all the ones you hear on this show too. So if you enjoyed today's episode and like taking amazing blogs on the go, come on over to Optimal Living Daily and subscribe to that one too. And together, we'll start optimizing your life.
You've been listening to Optimal Finance Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode, and head to oldpodcast.com, that's OLDpodcast.com, for a free gift as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.